1 year from the 2016 election, and Americans have a familiar view of the nation's direction: dissatisfied. According to a new poll, only 27% of respondents say the country is on the right track. Joining me now, Republican pollster Noel Nikpour, Fred Barnes, executive editor at the Weekly Standard, and Jessica Tarlov, Schoen Consulting senior political strategist. So I love this. Everyone's miserable. Everyone's unhappy. They totally disagree on what should be done. Does any of this surprise you, Noel?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I think that, the GOP, we're looking for a messiah, a political messiah, and we haven't found one yet. And that's the problem. That's the only thing that I see right now. And you can see where Trump and Carson and everybody's resonating that has nothing to do with the average, politician or labeled as a politician. So it doesn't surprise me. But what is sad is the feeling that the other so to say, the other gang, like they're not coming up as far. And I think it's because they're not resonating, or the message isn't, because it's a messenger.
Fred, so Republicans want a president who can, quote, stick to their convictions. So I think they're sick of, it sounds like, politicians in Washington promising something and then not delivering.
Well, that sometimes happens. Republicans do it. Democrats do it. Republicans, I think, let conservative voters eat on the idea that they could overturn Obamacare, that they could really repudiate and undo some of Obama's legislative victories. And, of course, because of the ability of Senate Democrats to filibuster and Obama to veto bills, they couldn't do it. So there are a lot of unhappy Republicans, tend to be conservative ones out there, and they're angry at the candidates. But look, it is not unusual for the so-called Messiah not to have emerged in the year before. Frequently, that person, the dominant person in the campaign, doesn't emerge until the early primaries. That happened in Reagan's case. It's happened in many other cases.
Jessica, I think it's interesting that the two most negative people in the race that people feel the worst about are the two frontrunners, basically, right now. Donald Trump, who I understand is trailing Carson in a lot of places, but
margin of
has
error
been in front.
territory.
And Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's really interesting, but Ben Carson has really high favorables. So, I mean, there is that on that side of it. But I think that people are looking for the authenticity that Trump is providing them with, even though he's a few points behind right now. As Noel said, they want an outsider. And the establishment candidates haven't been able to prove why having a long career in politics, or even a short career in politics in the case of Marco Rubio, makes them a better qualified person to run the country. They feel that we've had politics as usual in Washington for decades, and it hasn't gotten them anywhere. And I wanted to add, not that I want to make the case worse for the Democrats, but I think a really important statistic is the fact that over 60% of Americans don't believe that their children will do better than they did.
Right.
And that's something that's crucial to the voting public, that they feel that things are not only going to get better tomorrow, but that in 20 years they know that they can, sleep safely knowing that their kids are going to have jobs and be able to pay it forward and, provide for their children.
So, Noel, when you look at it from the Republican side and you see that Democrats are looking for, I'm looking for the quote here, they want the person that's going to bridge the differences in the country, but then you realize that what's happened over the past 8 years is mathematically those differences have become more dramatic under the policies that have come out of the left and from Barack Obama. It seems like there's no way to win that argument then. If they want the person that's going to, bridge the gap, but they voted in the person who's made it worse, how do you battle back against that as a Republican?
Well, I think that what the Republicans are going to have to do is appeal to that middle ground. And Melissa, it's been really hard because it's the middle ground that I feel is mostly undecided. And so the burden on it lies within the GOP, and that's my feeling. And that's why you're seeing, so much up and down. And that's why you're not really going to know a clear winner until we get right up into the neck of the election. And do you remember back in the last elections where you had 18 different people have, their day in the sun? All these people surged. It was once a month somebody was the hero
different.
of the month.
Can I just say, though, quickly on the point about Obama being the one who caused this, the Democrats feel strongly, and a lot of independents and moderates, that the Republicans who are the ones who are causing this division.
I'm sure
in
they
Washington.
do, but it's just that, unfortunately, when you look at the statistics, if you look at median income and how much it's fallen and how the rich have gotten so much richer under Obama, there's no way to sort of dispute the actual numbers versus feelings, which is what liberals are all about. We got to go. Thanks to all of you. David.
All right.